Guys,
You go.
how you doing?
There's been some difficult games. You guys just haven't finished them, and this one comes down, at the end of regulation. I know it's frustrating, but what's been the ability to kind of separate more than you have?
Yeah, we just didn't score enough points, so 17 points isn't going to do it, and that's basically what we've been doing all year. So we just got to, it's like the same thing, had a chance, give them a lot of credit. They made some real clutch plays. Fourth down completion for the touchdown was a great play. But we had our chances, we just didn't make the plays, and they did.
When a player doesn't make a team, but how crushing was it to see Tristan Wirfs carted off the field like that?
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful for us. It's awful for him. So it's, he's a great player for us. So the other guys in, you're going to have to do a good job, but, it's hard to replace him.
To go from being up 7 with the ball with a chance to put it away to go into overtime losing Tristan, how big a swing of emotions is that in a short amount of time?
I mean, that's football, and, I believe you do the right thing and you give yourself an opportunity to win. If you do the wrong thing, it's very difficult. We just, too many plays where we're just not on the same page and just not, we're all not seeing it, the same way, and we just got to work at it and talk through it and see if we can improve it.
You connected really well with Godwin today. It seemed like you and Mike weren't the same. Any reason, were they covering him better or more than other receivers? Any reason why you guys didn't look that way more often?
Yeah, I got to, keep finding ways to get him the ball. There were just a lot of tight plays. We didn't obviously make any.
One of the positives today was you being able to find Kokeeft in the end zone for a touchdown. Just having, I don't know if you could speak to having a tight end that has the ability like he does to block. He was lined up as a fullback there and can catch the ball. He's got reliable hands.
Yeah, versatile player, and he's been doing a good job for us when he's in there. He's doing a good job. So got to keep finding ways to use everybody, and we just got to figure out how to make some improvements in a short period of time and try to get back to 500.
For as a quarterback, just how beneficial is it to be able to have a player that has like a tight end that has those kinds of multiple skill sets when it's a lot harder to score. Well, it's harder to move the ball period in the red zone.
Yeah, it's hard, and I think that he provides some blocking in the run game, and then thinking about in the passes, he's catching the ball and doing a good job there. So just gonna keep finding all the guys on the roster have to figure out ways to contribute.
Not having Fournette, especially in this type of game, with the elements and everything like that, and Rashad White, he had a solid game. But how big is that not to have, that key player in this type of game?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to try to get everybody healthy. And, who's ever out there, I'm trying never to make any excuses. Who's ever out there, we got to figure out how to get the job done. We all love having Lenny out there, and Rashad's done a good job for us. So, just got to keep trying to, get different guys the ball so they can have some production for us.
Tom, they scored with 32 seconds, and you had a big play to Julio, got across midfield.
Yeah.
Do you wish you'd had used some timeouts in that situation down there when they were on offense? I know it came down to a fourth down pass, but you'd had a little more time instead of having to go for the Hail Mary there.
Yeah, it was a tough situation. It was in the end they just made the plays and we didn't. I mean, we had just same opportunities to make plays that they did, and they made them. We didn't. That's ultimately what football comes down to. Someone's got to make them, and someone's, for every play that you give up on defense, they make on offense, and vice versa. They stop you on defense, you don't make a play on offense. So, it's just every play is an individual win or loss, and we're losing too many.
I know we don't know Tristan's status, but obviously getting carted off is never good. You already lost Ryan this year. I mean, at any point this season, have you just felt like, why? Or ask God, like, why have things kind of panned out the way they have so far?
No, it's up to us to change the momentum. So it's again, I don't think you leave it up to chance. I think you try to do the right thing every day in practice and every day in the game, and you try to do it consistently well over time. And we just have not done a good job stringing enough plays together to score touchdowns consistently.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Which it came down to a fourth down play, but your defense has given up scores late in games. What's going on with that and not able to close out some games?
Guy made a heck of a play. Coverage was fine. We know what we were running. He jumped up and made a one-hand catch. It was out of the reach that Devin couldn't get there. He made a heck of a play.
I realize it just happened, but the injury to Tristan Wirfs, what do you know right now?
Nothing yet. I just know it's a leg injury, and they carted him off. Hadn't had a chance to go inside.
Probably in overtime there, it looked like the penalties up, we worked against them. How big was that penalty to kind of scout the drive overtime?
Well, all penalties are big. We had some during the game. I think we might have had about 8 or 9 of them. We were close to it as far as that's concerned, and we shot ourselves in the foot on offense with the penalties. We gave them field position with the defensive penalties. We shot ourselves in the foot on the punt return. We got backed up, or the kickoff return right there. We got backed up, and we had to drive further, and we couldn't get the first down.
Todd, how disheartening is this? You're up 7 most of the second half. To go from, instead of 3 straight wins, you lose not only the game, but a key player.
This was tough. You know, we had so much in all 3 phases that lost this ball game, whether it was the return game that they returns on us, whether it was punt or kickoff, defensively, key stops at certain times, a penalty to move the ball, letting the run out at certain times. The tackling wasn't great. Offensively, not being able to get third downs was crucial for us, and they were getting to the quarterback too much in the second half.
Some of those issues that you just mentioned, you know, they had happened earlier in the season and kind of surfaced today. Were there any of them that were particularly surprising to you after you thought maybe you had those corrected?
Well, nothing gets corrected. You got to play every week. We don't try to correct things and have it done for the year. You got to play every week. They played hard. We didn't play smart. We didn't play good football. We didn't play sound football, and we let things go.
At the end of regulation there, obviously they have the ball. Is there any thought to calling a timeout when you know it's a 3rd or a 4th down near the goal line, just to give yourself more time to get to answer with a field goal, if you will?
You talking about the overtime or the regular
Talking
part
about
of the game?
at the end of
The
regulation.
end of regulation.
No, that clock was going to run down. We didn't have enough to stop it right there. So it was overtime right there, right off the top. Once we couldn't get the other play, Julio made a great play, then we couldn't get there. It was going to overtime.
Lose a player of Tristan's caliber, and obviously we don't know the severity of the injury, but it looked pretty bad. What do you say to your team to get them back on track? You still have a significant number of games in front of you. You could still possibly win the division. What do you say to them?
I mean, it's tough. We know it's tough. When you lose a player like that, you say it's part of the game, but a lot of those guys are so close that it hurts a lot, and the next man's got to step up, and hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, and he gets a speedy recovery, and you go from there. That's all you can do in this game. You know, it's a tragedy to lose guys like that on a team, but at the same time, we got to push on.
You mentioned, you know, that they're all very close. You know, Tristan seems like he's one of the most likable guys on the team, just from an attitude standpoint, an effort standpoint. Like, what does he bring to your team?
He brings leadership. He brings toughness. Obviously, he's one of the best in the game. So when you lose a guy of that caliber, it's going to be tough to replace. But, you know, Wells and all those guys are going to have to step in, and we have to keep going.
Todd, you didn't have that today. It seemed like Rashad had a big run on the first drive was a big part of that. How did you feel like he played over the course of the game?
I have to look at the tape overall. I know he played tough. You know, I know he had some good pickups on blocking right there, but the holes kind of closed up on him a little bit later on in the ball game. We got to find a way to stay consistent on first down.
Vita Vea continued to, he was out there today playing. I know he had the foot injury during the week. How much was that impacting him, if at all, during the game?
I don't think it did. I got to look at it and see it some more on film, but I don't think it impacted him.
Still just 17 points. You've had trouble scoring points all year. What's not happening to get more points on the board?
We're not finishing third downs. Third downs have been crucial for us, stopping us from driving the ball. I think we were like 4 of 16, something like that. They might have been 5 of 17, which was about 24%. And if you can't score or get the ball moving on third down, it's going to be tough to stay on the field.
And then came back. Is that somewhere he was cleared from protocol, was allowed to return, basically?
Yeah, he was cleared. He was fine.
And then as far as finishing the game, was he?
As far as I know, he was fine.